Okay, and we're back with another session of Geek Night, and this time we're gonna talk about Angolmois, record of Mongol invasion, or in Japanese it's known as Angolmois Gekko Kasenki, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so the real so Angolmois, well, it continues a bit from um last week is that about wars and stuff. Okay, so Angolmois, okay, what we know, the story is set in the 13th century Japan, okay, in Tsushima, okay. Uh, Now most of you like heard of Tsushima basically from Ghost of Tsushima game, okay. For me, I've known about Tsushima, about in this anime, okay, and this anime is quite recent. It aired in 2018, okay. Now, what makes Angomwa a bit different from the other anime is that um they're trying to base this a bit on real life history, okay, and that um as we know, the Mongol Empire really expanded wide, okay, far and wide, okay, and as far as I know that the Mongol didn't reach Japan. So the biggest reason when I heard that when I knew about the Mongols, I assumed that it's probably because um mostly because Mongols are known for horseback riding, and Japan is a basically an island country, so that's why it didn't get invaded. Okay, and now this one here it tells about about what happened. So here, okay, they're eyeing for the Mongol Empire is eyeing for Japan. Okay, in the story. Now, the reason why it's set in Tsushima is because Tsushima is set in between Japan and Korea Peninsula. Okay, and if they really are going to go for Japan, they need to get uh the Tsushima, okay, the island of Tsushima. Um, I'll talk about this later on. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the protagonist. Okay, so now the protagonist is actually this guy here, which is Kuchi Jinzaburo. Okay, he's an exiled samurai. Okay, so he was exiled. Basically, like he did a crime that is normally would not be forgiven. Okay, and even he assumed that he's going to be killed. But the reason why he was not killed is because um, somebody actually if you're going to if you're going to kill them, send them to us, okay? Exile them to our place so we can use them to fight against the Mongol invasion, okay? Because they has it has been made known that the Mongols are aiming for they are aiming for um Tsushima. Okay, and basically the people who are in charge of Tsushima, they pull some strings, and you know anybody who is who did a very heavy crime, either punishment by death, or any sort of, like, for example, in prison for 50 years, something like that, like very long time. They are sent to Tsushima, and basically like fight to their death. Okay, and then the fact that um Tsushima, it's quite far away from Japan. I wouldn't say it's like it's still a part of Japan, but it's still quite far away, because you remember Japan is an island nation, and there are a couple of archipelagos in the area. So like uh Tsushima is like one of the bigger one among them. Okay, and the all of these misfits and criminals, they don't like the idea of being used as pawns. Okay, even they know how scary the hordes are, and when at first they know, like, okay, you were chosen to fight for the Tsushima, okay, protect it so that protect like some kind of a barrier against some kind of a barrier against the Mongol invasion. Okay, they put their life on the line. Okay, at first, like okay, they fight just for the sake of it. Okay, because they have no choice because they can go back to their to Japan. Okay, mainland Japan. But point is that it's not easy because the travel to Tsushima is very dangerous because the waves and everything. Okay, and they don't have a boat that is like sturdy enough for it. Okay, most likely if they go back by boat, they're gonna like sink with it. Okay, so they reluctantly fight for it. Okay, and after a while they remember like, oh, I still have family behind. I need to protect it. So or maybe for some other reason. Okay, but in a sense that instead of like reluctantly fight, now they're like, okay, uh, for their own reasons, they're going to defend themselves and fight to the death to stop the invasion. Okay, now the plot is that um the Mongols, as you know, they come in hordes. Okay, and a lot of them. There's a huge number of them, and Tsushima is like basically like some kind of like you can imagine a rural state. Okay, and they have no other choice. So what they do is that most of their tactics in order uh, to repel the invasion is by using guerrilla tactics. Okay, like catch them off guard. Okay, now their quick thinking, their ingenuity is like keeping them alive, but that that's only like the first battalion, like the scouting battalion. Okay, so even though they win, like okay, that's only the appetizer. The main the main dish haven't come yet. So like in a sense they knew that, but they took every win they got with pride. Okay, because it's already amazing with the number of people they have. Okay, remember Tsushima is in such a terrible shape in the sense that by number that they are willing to take any misfit you know criminals, okay, to fight for them. Okay, even knowing full well that these criminals they can backstab you and stuff. Okay, so they are willing to take that. Okay, and even with that, most of their fighting combatants are these misfits. Okay, and then slowly we get to see how big the number of the hoarding invasion. At the end, instead of like trying to protect Tsushima, it actually became to a point that surviving is the point of the battle itself. Okay, survive to fight another day. Okay, one by one are taken down. So it's quite sad, seeing all of this happen. Okay, and of course they are not only combatants. They are like I say, this is a rural part of Japan. You can assume like it. Okay, so like there's a lot of farmers and stuff with little kids, and these people they are dragged into all of this. Okay, it's really hard to say. Okay, now we're going to talk about logistics. Okay, the reason why I talked about Tsushima just now is that if you pay attention here, let me take out my cursor. Okay, oopsie, I moved the wrong thing. Okay, give me a second. Okay, now look here. Okay, so Tsushima. Okay, this is the Fukuoka, basically the southern part of Japan. Okay, and this is Korea. Okay, the Korean Peninsula. Okay, and Tsushima is right between both of them. Okay, so okay, in the very beginning itself, and it had been stated a couple of times also that Tsushima, connects Japan to the mainland. Okay, and saying that there's a merchant in the story saying that any merchant who wants to deal with to bring their goods to Japan or out of Japan, like you know, they will need to pass Tsushima, okay, at their point. So you know, in a sense, it is a supply point, okay, and because assuming that they need to restock on their supplies and everything, okay. Now, the Mongols, they need supply space, okay. So if they just come here to here, remember the from Japan to Tsushima, it is dangerous, like I said earlier, if you paid attention, saying that the waves are rough and all, okay? So, definitely small raft or boat will not be able to survive the journey from Tsushima to Japan. But think about it. What about Japan to Korea? So, like, if they want to skip Tsushima, so like they move around from this side here, it's going to be rough, okay? So they need to take the Tsushima. Why? Because for supply, and of course, as you know, Mongols, you know, their biggest tech, their biggest, the thing they need the most is horses. Okay, for when they took, when Mongols take around the surrounding nation, their land, so they can use their horse to, to run around and pillage and stuff. But horses can travel through sea. So in a sense, they need. So what I assume is that other narrations, okay, they're going to use it like Tsushima to bring the horses one by one, okay, carefully. And even if I'm not wrong, in the boat in the anime itself, you can see that there are horses inside of them. Okay, and so this is the biggest reason I think why the Mongols is going to like, if they can catch Tsushima, if they can capture Tsushima, then they'll go for the whole of Japan. If they can't capture Tsushima, then they are off of it because their biggest main power is from horses, and if they don't have horses, they can't do anything about it. Okay. Hmm. Now, next, we're going to talk about the idea of patriotism. Okay. So in this story, um, most of most of the people here know that they're going to die. Why? Because there's no other way to put it. Because they're facing such a huge amount of enemy. Okay. Even though they are X, okay, we're talking about we're talking about the main protagonist here, okay, okay, Jin Zaburo, and of course the people around, okay, the criminals, whatever we want to call them, okay, they have no, um, even they, okay, in a sense, they feel some sort of patriotism because they wanna protect their own country in a sense, okay? If not, they want to protect their own families, okay? So all of them, okay, even though that they are criminals, they know like, okay, at least I'll do something to protect my country. And of course, not all of them feel that way since they are all criminals. Most of them are criminals. Some of them do betray, but I would say a majority, 50, 57% of them actually, is really fighting for their life, okay? Because Jin Zaburo, the main protagonist himself, he have his own family back home, okay? Even he felt, regret that he sullied the name, but at least, he want to protect um the the family from the invading Mongol hordes, okay? Even they know, by this time the Mongols have already, captured a significant amount of people, okay? Now, okay, so all of this here, okay, we can sense that patriotism, but no other person in the story, like emphasizes that other than Teruki Hime. Okay, so she's the princess of the of Tsushima. Okay, and she it's like I assume that she's a branch of one of the families. Okay, and she's supposed to govern over the land. Okay, then look at her. She's at best in her 20s. Okay, and it's not like she's doing this out of hate. Okay, or like or like responsibility. She's doing out of this because she loves the people of the island. and maybe of course in Japan itself. Okay, so she's doing everything. She's, things that she doesn't like, things that she hated. Okay, all of this just to protect the people from suffering terrible, acts of pillaging from the Mongol horde. Okay, because they've heard the stories about villages that has been raised by raised by the Mongols. Okay, and you can see a lot of time that she actually broke apart because she couldn't take it. Okay, even in the beginning, the first episode itself, we can see that happening. Okay, now the reason why I chose this is because, with the ongoing conflict Ukraine, and it's amazing how Ukraine haven't fought. I'm not saying that, that they are weak or whatever. It's because Russia, as we know, Russia has the second amount of nuclear weapons, okay, next to America, but their military is not to scoff at, okay. And the reason why they say that Ukraine have not fallen is because logistics, okay, because Russia has been relying on their railway system for most of their logistics, okay, and they say something that they can't go with 90 miles or 90 kilometers from the track, okay. If they if they are further away from that, then their supply lines, basically you can consider as not as really not effective, or cut off completely in a sense. Okay, and so that's why I decided to talk about Angolmois. Okay, because Angolmois is it's the story of, getting the supply line. Okay, and if you can't control the supply line, then the war itself is not be able to continue because of it. Okay, now let's just hope that things will look better for Ukraine. Okay, and it doesn't escalate further. And you know what that means when we talk about Russia. Okay, so yeah, all the all our hearts out to Ukraine. Okay, but just one thing: do not treat the regular citizen of Russians as enemies. Okay, because they also went through a lot. Okay, so they are not our enemies. The Russian people. Okay, this is not a war between Russia and Ukraine. It's a war between Putin and Ukraine. Okay, so mostly. Okay, maybe the generals agree with it, but I don't think you know the sole. Basically, this war is instigated by one man. Okay, now my thoughts on the anime as a whole is that it's quite it's quite touching, because if you watch Angolmois, you can literally see. I don't want to talk about it again, but still, you can really feel that out of desperation that they are protecting their country. Okay, especially the protagonist and Teruki Hime. Both of them, they are putting their life on the line. Okay, to protect their families, to protect the people. Okay, even though that he's an exiled samurai, it's not like he forgot his code and everything. Okay, and you can tell that every single fight they are losing hope. Okay, they win, but they are losing hope because they know they are going to be reinforcement keep on coming and coming and coming. And I don't want to spoil the ending for you, so it's up for you to watch. Okay, but it's really just like what is happening to Ukraine. Like they say, like um even with the ceasefire and everything, they think that it's going to stop, but actually it didn't, and it just continued on and on and on. It's just like um, even when they found hope in the middle of the invasion, it is crushed like instantly in a couple of scenes. So I remember when at first, the first couple of days, like saying that the Ukrainians have repelled the invading forces from entering Kharkiv and the airport and stuff. So those are really, amazing moments. Just like what happened in Angolmois, okay? They fought a battle, this fleet, I would say the fleet, this whole battalion. And then the next thing happened is that the say, oh, this is just a scouting one. So there is a lot of, and I just hope that Ukraine doesn't end up as Angolmois. That's that's the only thing I can say. Okay. Now, next is yeah, that's my thought. The reason why I chose that is because with the ongoing situation. Okay. Now, this is my this week's plan. Okay. This week I'm planning to have a lot. I'm taking quite a day off. Okay. So on Thursday I'm not going to stream, and Sunday also because I'm a bit busy this week. Okay. And okay, so tomorrow Yakuza Kiwami. Thursday I'm off, and I'm gonna play Kiwami again on Friday. And on Saturday I'm just gonna have Mama Holic. Okay. I'm not teaching Upa this week. Probably for the rest of this month. Okay. And Sunday there's no stream. And Monday gonna play Yakuza Kiwami. Most probably next week we're going to finish Kiwami. Okay. I think I'll try to fight with Amon again. And then on Tuesday, I'm gonna have next week Tuesday Geek Night. We're gonna talk about Gintama. Okay? Yeah. So that's it for this week. Okay. And if you like Geek Night, you um can subscribe to the channel. You can like and share the videos, and if you want, you can comment on the videos as well. Okay, to show support or to say something. Maybe like you want me to review some animes. Okay, so most I think okay, I would say that I watch around 30% of the anime that is released every season. Well, 20, 30, 40%, depending. At least that I'm interested. Okay, if just say like watch one or two episodes, I think I've watched 70% of it. Okay, and I followed around 20 to 40% of the ongoing anime. Okay, uh, and if you like, what I'm doing, you can join me live. Okay, if you have the time, and you can try and check out my other stream as well. I do have novel night where I'll have visual novel translation, and also meme explain. But meme explain this week, I'm taking a day off. Usually it's on Sunday. Okay. Now, if you have anything you think I can improve on, comment down below. Okay. With that said, that is all for this week. Uh, Thank you for watching. Okay. See you next time.